everyone. Today we are here to discuss about the hands-on lab for our first Spring Boot application and also the demo for service discovery. So before starting with our first Spring Boot application, I would like to show you about what exactly is Spring. Just a brief introduction about Spring. So Spring is a quite a large framework and there are many libraries, options, and integrations. And if you are sitting down to learn Spring at this moment, believe me, it's really difficult to know and understand from where to start. So, in this session, we will pick the absolute best way to start learning Spring, and that's with the Spring Boot framework. Spring Boot framework actually takes a lot of complexity of building enterprise-based Spring application and make it easy to get everything wired up and run just in few seconds or minutes. But before doing that, I also would like to say that in short you can say that Spring Boot framework removes the boilerplate code and helps a developer to develop an application up and running condition in few minutes. So, Spring Boot. Spring Boot has been a game changer for the Java platform. Before Spring Boot came around, it was really a big hassle for a developer to spend few days just wiring a MVC framework to the persistence framework and then getting and making it with database. So now can you imagine a application setup takes few days? That's really not acceptable in today's world. So Spring Boot takes an opinionated view, this one, on how a Spring app should be constructed. By doing so, you can now stand up a fully wired application from controller to database in just a matter of seconds. Spring Boot prefers Spring framework like Spring MVC and Spring Data, which is one way to make it opinionated, but also serves another purpose. Another purpose is that Spring Boot makes building application very quick. So that's why we are actually using Spring Boot framework to build our application. You will feel the difference in next few minutes. Now, Spring Cloud. I actually putting these terms because as I already said that we're going to talk about service discovery. So service discovery is part of Spring Cloud. So that's why. So Spring Cloud, basically here I'm talking about cloud computing. Why it is so? Because many of you might have heard about the cloud and it is often hyped as this is also the big game changer. Nowadays, actually it's true. It is a big game changer and nowadays many of the enterprises and companies are fully starting to embrace the cloud. So the thing is along with the so earlier we used to have this centralized monolithic architecture for our application where everything is in one place, but now when we are moving towards the distributed system using microservices, then of course it's not only the software who is getting changed but also the hardware. So moving from this managed and finite resources to an infinite and on demand and self service resources is is done by cloud. But remember, nothing comes with a price. There are a lot of challenges. So we already have a understanding of the challenges while we discuss the microservices, but the main issue here is that things are not quite as static as they used to be in monolithic, And that's why we can't just design and architect and use the same principle or technology in microservices. Nowadays, so actually the application on clouds needs to be scaled up or down based on your requirement. And how this Spring Cloud helps. So Spring Clouds help you to build a cloud native application. Now you are probably thinking, what is this cloud native application? Well, a cloud native application means that your application was specifically built and engineered for these clouds. It means your application fully utilizes all the cloud computing paradigms. Spring Cloud itself is not actually a framework. Loosely speaking, it's actually used to describe a number of projects that all falls under the same big umbrella. And in this particular course, we're gonna focus on building our first app using Spring Boot, and then also the Spring Cloud config and Spring Cloud Netflix. So let's get started for our first Spring Boot application. So the best here, there are some prerequisites that you need to have on your machine. It is JDK and the IDE. You can use any kind of IDE as per your preference. Here I'm using IntelliJ. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is I want to create my Spring Boot application using the Spring Initializer. And for that, this is the URL. Let's copy this and let's go and create one. Here. So this is the screen you will get from Spring Initializer. It is really cool and easy, but you will see that how the words I said that within few seconds, few minutes, it's possible here. How are you gonna do it? First of all, you have to select your project, whether it should be a what the build type is. It a Maven project or a Gradle project? I'm gonna use the Maven project. Language, any of these. For I'm preferring Java because most of my students are having a Java background. And then the Spring Boot versions. I'm going with the latest one. I mean this one, which is stable 2.4.5. And then this is the place where you have to provide your project metadata, which means your group, artifact, name, description of the project, package name. So let's say I want to make it as instead of example, I would say microservices, and then artifact need to be here, service discovery server, right? And then in the description oh sorry, I'm just want to create my first basic Spring Boot application, right? So let's remove it. Let's put demo, and then here as it is example, which it was earlier. And then so here we are just creating the basic Spring Boot application. Dependencies, you can search here dependencies what you want to add. Otherwise, if you know, just put it here. Like I want to use Spring Web and yeah, good to go. Let's just create it. Okay, so it's here in demo, and then my IntelliJ I will open. So from the downloads, this demo was the project. This project. say our project is ready. Now you can imagine how fast it was. The form is created. It is having the name what I gave. This one, artifact, version, the name, description, Java version, everything is in place, right? And even your structure is ready. You can see here all these things perfectly fine. And remember the most important thing, this Spring Boot application annotation, this is the most important part when we create the Spring Boot application, because this actually takes all the boilerplate code which we earlier used to write when we were using Spring as a framework. So have a quick uh, read of this one, that this is the most important part. This is a convenience annotation that is equivalent to @configuration, @enable auto configuration, and @component scan. So these are the three main parts which is equivalent to this one. Okay, let's run our first project. Looks like I have some other projects running somewhere. Wait. Yep, it was here. Sorry for this. Oh, again, it is somewhere. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yay. So now application started. So this was all about creating a basic Spring Boot application. I hope this is pretty much clear. I'm just giving the briefing again what I did. Using the Spring initializer, I selected all the requirement to create the project, and then the dependency. Now dependency, and then pretty much it. I exported that, imported that project into my IntelliJ, run the main application, and boom, it's done. Now let's do it again, but for our service discovery server. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it as microservice. Instead of artifact demo, I want to make it discovery server. Project description, demo project for Spring Boot, demo project for service discovery server using Eureka. Yeah, I want to have a jar. I'm using Java 11. And then in dependencies, okay, I need Spring Web. I am gonna add, the most important is this Eureka server. Remember, there are two: Eureka discovery client and then Eureka server, and service registry also. But I need Eureka server. Go here, add it. Another for I would like to have those two were important. Additional ones which I want to have is actuator and If you want, you can add dev tools also. That's pretty much. So this is the most important part for creating service discovery server part. So generate, open, this is the one. I'm again going to my IntelliJ, opening it. It's in downloads, this one, open. Test projects. Let's wait for a few seconds until it's resolving all the dependencies. Done. Let's see what is the surprise for us. POM, yeah, this is all the name I gave on using the initializer, like here. And then I have the dependencies as actuator, web, see, cloud, starter, Netflix, Eureka server, then DevTools, and yeah, dependency management is new, which got added when I added this Eureka server. Apart from that, nothing fancy. So remember, you need to have your dependency and you need to have your dependency management part here for the Spring Clouds. This is pretty much it. If you go to your this service discovery server application, you can see SpringBoot application is there. As this is a server, I need to put enable Eureka server, right? Perfect. Let's run it. Looks like there is some problem. Exactly. So now it is complaining that cannot execute request on any known server because we added the annotation, but apart from this annotation we also need to put some properties, right? So here we go. So remember this application.property files, you can leave it as it is. I will show you this, so like what I need. So first of all, I need to add spring.application.name equal to, let's say, discovery server. I can do it this way, like everything is in one line if I'm using application.properties file. But another option is that we factor it and make it as, instead of properties, make it as YAML file. Why YAML? Because now if I write spring.application.name equal to this discovery server, oops, sorry. Next one, Eureka dot, it's a bit weird, it's not taking up, but no worries. Let's see. So Eureka dot client dot registry. Okay, let me just stop it and build again, because logically it should show me the values, and it helps you to write it. Give me a second. So now Spring, yeah, this way, application. Actually it automatically takes, no need to write it this way, but somehow my machine at this moment is not taking. And then oops, Eureka dot client register, but the name should be visible, Eureka. Then the value, I will tell you why I'm putting it as false. And then I think register with Eureka, yeah, spelling is correct. Fetch registry, and then it's also false. Let me tell you why I'm making it false, because if I will make it true, then it will try to register itself, which at this moment I don't want. So let's try to run our application. This time this error should not be there. Okay. So yeah, the error is gone. And one more point which I would like to mention, that please put this port number also. So server, then port value as 8761. Why? Because 8761 is the default port number for Eureka. So I'm rerunning it. Because I wanted to show you the URL. So here, if I do localhost 8761, you can see the Spring Eureka. At this moment there is no application. Let me show you. There is no application because we are not having any service being registered here. But if I make it as true, okay, then by making it as true, I'm saying that register yourself also. Let's see how it works. So no error, you can see in the console it registered itself. And let's refresh the page. You can see this was my application name and it registered itself, but we don't want to do it, so I'm just making it again as false. This is all about creating the discovery server. Sorry. And now I want to make our client, so that the server is ready, that now it's all about client. So how to do that? For that, you just need to be aware that when we are making this client, come back to Spring Initializer. Everything is fine. I will just change this name to discovery or client service. Putting the name, giving this Okay, it's a bad name, but don't judge with this. I'm just putting it one. So if there are many more, you can easily see that the services, what are the services. And remember, the only difference, uh, 1 minute, demo project for self using Eureka. Yeah, fine. So in dependencies part, remember that you don't need, because now we are creating the client services, so we don't need Eureka server. Remove it. All other are fine, but what we need to have is our Eureka client, discovery client. Remember, in the earlier case it was Eureka server, but this time we need is Eureka discovery client. Okay, everything is otherwise the same as what we did earlier. Generate the project. Okay, go here, open the new, okay, open the new project, what we just created. So this is our project. So first of all, we will go and check with our POM what is the difference. Everything is similar except this. Earlier in the previous part, when we were talking about discovery server, it was server. In this case, it's client. And then this is the same because we are using Spring Cloud dependencies. So rest, all other is same except the name. What we have now is client service 1. Okay, now coming to our file, main application file. Again, what we have to do here in the service application file is add the annotation and at the rate Eureka. This time it's not the server part, it is it's enable discovery client, this one. So we have made changes in our application file. Now it comes to the application properties file. You can, again, as I said earlier, you can make it as application.yaml because that is much more readable, and application, or you can just go along with application.property file. What we have to do in application.property file is the application name, spring.application.name equal to the service name. You can put any name, but it is always recommended that use your service name what you have the project here, because if you just give some random name, it will take, but then it will be, if there are a lot of many services, it will be difficult for you to conclude which service it was. So I'm giving the same name as client service 1. This is my service name, and then the second part is write Eureka dot client dot service URL dot default zone equal to, here you can write http colon local host colon 8761. That's it. Oh, of course, at the end, Eureka. So that's it, done. And run your application here. Okay, it's done. You can see that here started this application, and if I go again to the browser, refresh this one, I should be able to see my current service. So this is my service name, client service 1. It is up. This is the health check, whether it's up or down. So currently this is up, and yeah, that's it. So this way you can create a lot of services and register in the server. By doing so, as you all know that in service discovery the services are registered, and this is the place from where one service will come to know where the other service is. So if you have the service name, you can see the mapping of the URL for that particular service. So yeah, that's it, and I hope you enjoyed this video and it's clear to you what I did. And if you have any question, any query, just feel free to reach me out anytime.